I'm headed out to the desert pretty soon. That's what some of my packing looks like. Filming a music video on the Playa. The Playa is where Burning Man happens. But I haven't attended Burning Man yet because I'm not gonna until I got something to do there. I don't just want to go there for no reason or for the party. That doesn't really interest me. Not that it's not interesting. It looks pretty awesome. It's just not my thing. I had a realization probably a week ago today where it's basically a realization I've been talking about, but there's a difference between thinking something and acting on it. And for me, it was scary because a lot of my dreams, a lot of the path that I thought that I was charting said that I needed to go through Hollywood or some kind of financer to get enough money to make my next movie. The universe, God, my higher self, whatever you want to call it, has clearly been indicating another direction. And that direction is make stuff for cheap or free and let people see it. So, after spending probably 5-6 months working on Leaving Jackson, Colorado, in 2 days I decided to release it on YouTube. As a result of that, I had to scramble because I asked when am I going to release it, and Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. didn't seem like the right thing, so this vlog isn't going to be on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. anymore. It's now going to be on Thursday at 3 p.m. I don't know why. I'm just exploring different times to see what works best. If I'm releasing a movie, the 3 p.m. vlog will not happen, and instead the movie will get released one day later on Friday, which is what I did with Leaving Jackson, Colorado. I came to that conclusion because actually I asked Gemini, and Gemini said, Tuesday's dumb. Your real audience is at between 2 and 4 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday. I tried Wednesday, but one of my collaborators found an error that didn't make them look as good as they needed to look. And so I had to re-render the movie. Because I had to re-render it, I had to re-edit it. Because I had to re-edit it, I realized I could make some other edits. And the previous version of Leaving Jackson, Colorado, I like to create this open space, and you'll see that in the end credits where actors kind of just go with whatever they feel like.
Are we rolling, John?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm really right up to it.
Unlock it, Grandma.
Yeah. And use this as a motivation to stand up too.
She does. Why do I always get the squeaky chair? Did you guys switch chairs around?
Although that was completely ad-libbed and something that they came up that they wanted to do. But within the framework of the dialogue, I like to give people space to kind of like make it their own. Like we get, as long as the subject gets covered and things that need to be said specifically get said, I like to collaborate with people. Otherwise, why not just use AI? So when I collaborate with them, I was like, just make the dialogue your own. If you feel like you need to add words or take words away, do that. And it lends itself to a freedom, a vibrancy, where the character comes alive for them in a way that it may not otherwise. This results in a much more realistic performance, which I think makes the movie better. But there's a downside. The downside is the actors started using profanity. I don't personally have a problem with profanity. If this movie were released in theaters, I definitely wouldn't have a problem with it. YouTube has a problem with it. If there's a certain number of profane words, and I'm not going to say it here because for the same reason, I can't fully monetize the video. And it's part of my duty as a filmmaker to try and make money for people, which means I need to try and get it as in front of as many people for as high a price range as I can that fits within the paradigm of what I'm trying to do in the world, which is make the important social dialogue that is cinema accessible to as many people as possible with as low a barrier to entry. Okay, so there was a lot of panic last week, like a lot of panic. One of the things that's both my strength and weakness is that I'm kind of impulsive sometimes. This is good because it keeps me living in the moment. It's bad because sometimes I don't always make the best decisions. I try to keep the impulsivity constrained within the creative space where it does the most good, but sometimes it slips out. And it did that last week, and I was rushing, and I was procrastinating and making excuses for not re-rendering the video, saying that it's not gonna, all of the links and all of the impressions that we got on the social media blitz that my collaborators and I did would be wasted because the link would no longer be valid when I re-uploaded it to YouTube again. I think that happened. I think we lost probably 500 to 1,000 views. I think that prevented it from going viral. But I also agree with the choice. Not necessarily because it's the logical one, although I think there is some logic to it, but because the universe directed me that way. It brought me to that place of extremely high anxiety to bring out something that I needed to know about. It was a cathartic experience. It was part of my dispelling my karmic delusions, undoing the bad versions of the stories that I tell about my life to myself. In this particular one, when I was very young, I would often overestimate how long it would take me to do a specific project. And as a result, I would think that I didn't have enough time, and I would panic and I would not do the project at all. So it became a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't have that issue anymore. But the underlying motive, the deep subconscious training in there still existed as of the middle of last week. So really, my argument for all of the logical arguments that I had for not releasing LJC, Leaving Jackson, Colorado, later, for not editing it and uploading it later, for wanting to release it on Wednesday, came from that desire to impulsively rush through. And in this particular case, it was hurting one of my collaborators. And it was hurting everybody else by the financial gain that it might make. It's probably not going to be much. Right now, I think we could buy a third-run movie ticket at a discount theater where they don't generally clean after each screening in the late 90s. $225 is what it made last time I checked. Which is pretty amazing. It's like a huge number. It's like $10 CPM, maybe 15, which is way higher than what I normally get. Anyway, I couldn't see that my impulsivity came from that space until I lived in the fear of the anxiety and saw it for what it was. Saw my motivations, my actions for what they were. And I know that it was the right choice to delay it, because the moment I took it down, all of the anxiety vanished. Now, it's possible that some of my anxiety was being projected by my collaborator who was being anxious about the particular issue, but that's not all of it, because I've been around anxious people before and I don't feel it as intrinsically in myself that way. No, that anxiety existed as a segue for me to come to that realization that my impulsivity comes from fear. And I don't want to be motivated by fear in anything in my life. When filmmakers talk about success, it's easy to kind of get confused about what success is, or to constantly change what success is. Some people think it's money. I've met enough rich people who are unhappy to know that money is not success. It's the narrative we're sold, but it's not real. Some people think it's fame. But the problem with fame is that it's basically a social jail where you can't go anywhere and be yourself anymore. You're constantly being fed a narrative. Oh, you're this great person. Oh, I have all these feelings about you. Oh, will you sign for me? Will you take a photo with me? Can I get a selfie? Whatever. Those are all great things because it really matters to the people who are asking those requests. But for the experience of the individual getting those requests, it can create some agoraphobia, some fear of going outside, some fear of going to social places. Imagine if you went, well, I don't know, whatever you do. I go to Trader Joe's. Imagine if you go to Trader Joe's and everyone in the store starts following you around so that you can't shop freely, so that you can't think freely. That's what fame is. What matters to me is a few things. I want more subscribers on my YouTube channel. I want people to watch this movie. But my highest self is really about reaching people, about it having an impact to some person. Maybe 2 people, maybe I don't know how many, but that happened with leaving Jackson, Colorado. Several people have contacted me saying it was awesome. Some people have watched it as much as 4 or 5 times. And that's why I do this. If I make something that inspires you to be different or be excited about life or think about your life slightly differently, that's my goal. How many people do I have to affect for that to be meaningful? I don't know. I'd like to think 1 is enough. With numbers, with views, kind of leaving that higher self moment that 1 is enough, it's easy to lose track of things. So I'm going to lead you through a brief meditation. If you have no ability to visualize, we'll come back around to you too. Close your eyes. Imagine an object. Imagine an apple, not the computer, the fruit. Imagine its redness. See it in your mind. Maybe it's a golden delicious, whichever apple you want. Just let the apple appear and see it in your mind's eye. Do you see it? Now, with your eyes still closed, let the apple double. So there's now 2 apples. Same apple, there's just 2 of them. Maybe you want to change the apple, maybe you don't, but it's easier if it's the same. Do you see the apples? Do you see both of them clearly? Double it again, so there's 4 apples. Spread them out so they don't make a grid. Make sure you can see all 4 clearly. This is where it gets a little tough. This is where the experiment gets fun. Keep the 4 apples in your mind. Keep them clear. Keep them separate. Don't organize them. Just let them be where they are. And slowly add another apple. Can you do 5? Can you hold 5 in your mind? One by one, as you feel comfortable, as you see clearly and distinctly each apple, without them blurring or clumping or getting organized into some grid, add 1 more apple. Add another one. What you'll discover is that they'll start to organize into a grid. They'll start to clump. They'll start to blur together. You'll have the idea of the number of apples in your head, but you won't actually be able to visualize them. The number is going to be different for everybody. I right now through this meditation, I could keep 5 in my head. On my best days, I think I got up to 6 or 7. Numbers are weird. With the views on Jackson, Colorado, I like to think of them not in that way that we thought of in the Apple, but in other systems that are relatively meaningful to me. So as it hit 50 views, I realized we probably got it in front of more people than would have seen it at a film festival. Generally, film festivals, lower tier film festivals, the screenings aren't full. In many film festivals, it will be in a smaller theater. As LJC's views passed 100, 150, I texted the screenwriter saying, we just sold out a very small theater, which is pretty cool. As of the screening of this, it's at 244 views. I don't know what it'll be when you see it. But now we're starting to sell out a fairly large theater. Not the giant ones. There's theaters with 3,000 people. But if you go to like a megaplex, the really big theaters can hold maybe 300 people, maybe 500. And 244 is almost a sold out show. And that's pretty awesome. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. A couple weeks, since it happened a couple weeks ago. There's a guy in the world called Elon Musk. He is currently the person with the most money, or rather the most assets that can be easily exchanged for money. His net worth is the highest. Last I checked, it was $1.3 trillion. We don't understand trillion. Trillion is a number that doesn't have meaning to us. In the same way that objects, the apples blurred together, numbers blur together. We have to relate them to something meaningful. So I want to do that with Elon Musk's money. The first one is that he can give every single person on the planet like $50. Maybe. No, $30. Is that right? 3 billion? No. Oh, wow. $300. Okay, yeah, I was off by an order of magnitude. Every person on the planet can be given $100. That's a lot. People were saying Elon Musk was really generous because 4,000 people who work at SpaceX became millionaires on the day that SpaceX went public. $1 is to a million what $1 million is to $1 trillion. That's how big that number is. Numbers are weird. Numbers are an abstraction from reality. And the only way we can understand those abstractions is to contextualize them in some other meaningful way. So that's what I try to do with views, with billionaires and now trillionaires. Make it meaningful. Otherwise, it's just a sound without context. I want to talk about one other thing before I go. I want to talk about several other things, but I'm not going to. I am toying with an idea. I am on the path to enlightenment, and I'm not going to stop because for me, I think if I can attain that, achieve that, realize that I already have it, however it's ideally phrased, that I will be a better filmmaker, I will be a better person. I can make more of a difference in this world to help people suffer less and experience more joy. There's this idea that I've been grating against that, and I know it's real, like the physics makes sense. I got the physics. It's just converting my bad training from what I think reality is to what it actually is. And when that shift happens, I feel it in my body. My capacities change. What I do and how I behave and how I treat people changes pretty severely. In the same way that realizing that the only thing stopping me from being a filmmaker was my deciding to do it and then doing it and just engineering around problems. Like Jackson, Colorado, we made for $1,300. Libertas we made for close to $600, not including festival submissions, which basically doubled the budget. It didn't cost as much money as I thought it needed to. And that realization set me free to do this, to make spec commercials, to make short films, and to work with people who are name talent, like Chris Casamassa. See, I can pronounce his name right because he explained it to me. The idea that matter doesn't exist in any meaningful way in higher dimensional reality, it's all energy, and that my sense of self is a projection of that higher self projecting into this reality, that the form that I take, this stuff that you're seeing now, is a manifestation created by that higher self, and it doesn't have to look this way. It doesn't have to behave this way. It doesn't have to be constrained to these 4 dimensions in a linear fashion, the way we're taught that physics works. Yes, I have had the experience of directing energy within my body into closed entropic systems, thereby creating order or healing people by touching them. But I've talked to people who've had bilocation, meaning they can be at 2 places at once. I just shared some of this with a friend of mine, Matt. He told me when we were at school, when we were at university, there were 2 women there who had teleported across a river. They stopped at one side, they were running for their lives. They came to the river that they couldn't cross, and yet they had to continue running. They knelt down, they prayed. When they opened their eyes, they were on the other side of the river. I would love to get more details about that, but that's all I've got. If you know these women, if you've got more details, let me know. I'd love to connect with you. I have to rewrite the narrative that's in my head about how physics works, and the way I do it is evidence. I don't want to slip into delusional madness. Although where the line between delusional madness and real valid experiences in intrinsic reality is a bit vague to me. The point being, I am going to the Playa, and my meditation on the Playa is to get away from the rules and the order that society imposes on me and lean further into this energetic idea. I don't want to go to the party that is Burning Man. I don't want to use hallucinogenic drugs on the Playa. That place is too powerful and too spiritually erratic to do drugs for me. I want to go there to explore this idea and see what happens. And I think Spirit's in it, because even as I talk about this right now, I feel the gentle electrical current here, which is what's been operant conditioning me into this new enlightened self path. I have more I want to talk about, but this vlog has gone on long enough. You will see me next week.